But let's talk some Switch sports, dude. If
big
you're ready.
review on a big game that, listen, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again, dude. And this is the final time I'm going to express this. This is the biggest, whatever you want to call it for me, surprise, upset, turnaround.
Yeah, you really did a 180.
On hype on a release. I feel like if I went back and saw my initial reaction, it's just night and day. I'd have to completely disagree with myself. And that's weird because we do this every 2 weeks, and I'm only talking about, 2 months ago maybe. And I'm just completely in a different place as far as the game is. And now the game has released. So first impressions of seeing an announcement and first impressions of hands-on with the game are going to give different results.
Definitely.
But I got to say, man, off top, I was completely wrong about this. This is a fantastic must-own Switch title. This is a must-own.
I agree.
Especially
on the same level as Wii Sports.
And you know something, dude? I'm going to get that out of the way before we even move on with the review. Whenever we went into this, everybody loves Wii Sports. Everybody loves the Miis. It still kind of is what it was. I don't know why I saw such a drastic shift watching the initial trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you see the sports mates, you see the new models. It's different. But really, the Wii Sports visual representation was as primitive as it was. I mean, it was on the Wii, right?
Yeah.
I think they did the best job moving this to Switch, having it polished, but still having the Mii option still be A1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did it. No question. I mean, they did a great job. When you use your character as a Mii, or anyone does, still has the same charm.
I agree.
As the old school Wii Sports, and I couldn't ask for more with that.
Yeah, I agree with that, dude.
The sports mates have also grown on me, the visual style. I think the graphics are actually good. It's a lot different from the Mii, obviously, and I prefer the Mii, so I'm gonna rock my Mii,
Mm-hmm.
Always as my avatar. So, but it doesn't bother me. It's not near as childish or cartoony as I thought it was at a first glimpse. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, dude, because I feel the same way.
Because I love the aesthetic of the game. I mean, we talked about how we were going to get into a little detail on Spoko Square itself. It's so intricately designed. I mean, some of these title cards we get give you this insight that is worthless to gameplay. But it's almost like there's this lore surrounding all of Spoko Square and all these areas of it. You would think it was like an adventure game.
Definitely.
Like Skyrim or something, and they're giving you information on areas and shit that you just don't need, but it makes it feel very authentic, as if it's like the itinerary at this sports resort. So that's another thing it does very well, is kind of immerse you into this. It feels like a
living environment, kind of.
Yeah, it really does feel like you're getting on and taking a vacation to this sports resort.
Yep. I like that a lot.
I do too. And if you came for a review that wasn't glowing, you came to the wrong place.
Yeah, I agree.
But I would love to run through the sports with you, because I think the bulk of what we're going to talk about with this game is going to be regarding the sports themselves. And then the big finale can be the one that we're expecting.
Yep, I agree. I don't know if it's coming through on the mic, but my dog Lucy is snoring right next to me.
That is absolutely precious and absolutely welcome.
If you hear any snoring, I apologize.
In the post-production, if you could just turn that up just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And turn me down slightly.
Lucy snoring ASMR cast.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to set up another mic for that. That just hyped this up double.
Yeah.
So, off the back of Lucy snoring, which sport would you like to start with, Tyler?
I would like to start with the one that we had no idea what it was going into, Shambara.
That's an excellent pick, because it's one that I've really grown to feel attachment with.
Yeah. Do you want to run the listener through the mechanics and the general how it works?
Oh, I mean, look, This one is basically the most first person is what it is experience, probably.
No question.
You know, you center your motion, which is done seamlessly. I love that, especially we'll get into badminton, but just centering, just having a button to center and put everything back in motion. Not that you need to, but that's a good option.
But sometimes you do.
Yeah, with the badminton.
Sometimes I have to do it.
Yeah. But I know it's pronounced like Shambara, but I always say Shambara. My apologies. Yeah. But it's sword fighting. You know, you hold down ZR and you're blocking. You let go of it and you're not blocking.
Yep.
You can strike when you're not blocking. So basically, it's fast gameplay, but the gist of it is if your opponent is blocking sideways, you know, horizontal, you want to strike horizontal. So if it's vertical, as Tyler is demonstrating so kindly, you want to strike vertical. Now, if you strike the opposite of it, you're going to be met with collision. You're going to hit their block. You're going to get stunned, and they're definitely going to yoink you.
Yeah.
And that's basically the mechanics. I mean, there's 3 sword styles. I will be the first to admit to you, I didn't try the other 2 at all. I've only done standard sword. I've done very well. That was actually one of the easiest to get certified pro on. Because I just hopped on and just whacked a few people, you know, won a good number of times, many more times than I lost, and then I was pro, you know.
Yeah.
But it's fun,
Seems like
man.
The formula.
It's sporadic. It's hard to get mad if somebody catches you slipping, bro, you know.
It's as fair as it gets. Like,
it's
very almost intuitive. Like golf in that you have to be in your own head a little bit.
It's very intuitive, and I think they could do much more with what you see. You see what they have first person here with this control scheme. Mm-hmm. There is so much they could do with that. I mean, they really could make some type of Star Wars game where there was like lightsaber battles in that representation. I just think it's a home run.
Yeah, I agree.
They did that very well. You could just see your hands and your sword, you know. So
it feels completely natural, first person. Like, you really get into it.
Definitely. I mean, you are really like, and all of these sports are so intuitive that you really find yourself having to implement to some extent the sport.
And I think Shambara's got to be one of the most active. Like, if you play that for 15 minutes, you're breaking a sweat.
Shambara and badminton, that's your
tennis as well.
If you can't cop Ring Fit, just play one of those.
Yep, and the tennis as well is quite engaging.
Definitely. The tennis is a big one on here. I mean,
let's talk about it. Let's just move right along. Do you have any other thoughts on Shambara?
I love it. I think I'm so glad they had it in the game. I mean, definitely. It's very welcome. And it's actually one I could see myself gaining some type of interest in continuing to grind pro. But currently my interest is taking bowling to the finish line and taking golf to the finish line. We'll get to all that. Yep. Golf is not on the game, but it is announced, so we'll talk about that later. But regarding the tennis, man, we played some tennis together.
Yep, and I played it with my fiance as well. That was one of the things that we got into.
And the tennis is one of the most played by my girl and I. I mean,
it feels really nice.
It does.
I really like what they did with it a lot.
When you play doubles tennis and you stand on your side and they stand on their side, it's a seamless experience.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the swing mode in Tennis Aces, but they said, let's take this, hone in on it, and make it its own $60 game.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. I mean, it's the definitive.
I always had a little bit of trouble with the swing mode on Aces. Like, it just didn't feel quite right to me.
I understand what you're saying. I feel like I caught on to it, but this is so intuitive that it makes swing mode on Aces feel like a bonus game mode. Mm-hmm. This is a whole game in itself. They could have sold this as Nintendo Tennis for $30, and it could have sold millions.
I agree, and the same could be said for a lot of the games in here. They really feel like polished standalone experiences.
It says a lot about the package, man. There's so many statements that I'm going to make in between these sports that sound like the wrap up of the review, but that says a lot about the game. That there's so many statements like that. But you really feel like you're getting your value out of this just because of how much is put into each individual sport. You're met with the screen where you pick one of the 6. But it's not like it's 6 rushed mini games or anything like that. They all are their own thing.
Yeah.
And they all do what they do so well,
I agree.
I haven't come across any issues or snags as far as control goes or anything like that, dude. Really?
No, they have honed these Joy-Con motion controls masterfully in the last few things that have come out.
Think about how far we've come from the nunchuck.
Yeah. You think about like Mario Galaxy and how they were able to port that and bring the Wiimote kind of point and control so seamlessly in. And that to me is kind of the start of when they really started just kind of trying to use the Joy-Con like a Wiimote. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Like, I know there's other stuff like that, but in terms of my experience, that was what opened my eyes, right? In terms of this functionality can be one-on-one.
Definitely. And it's something that comes up whenever people talk about the price of the Joy-Cons. When you look at it, it looks like a little controller. There's a lot of tech inside of them. Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of functionality. So it's
just
no wonder
they weren't so prone to issues.
Absolutely.
But that's, this is not the podcast to listen to if you want to hear about that.
Yeah, these issues are popping up in other controllers. I mean, this is
definitely
not,
But I think the Joy-Cons, I mean, no one's going to sit here and say they're not highly susceptible to some of these issues just because of the frequency that people experience them.
Definitely.
But that's fine.
But
it's
tennis,
workable.
Tennis is something that means a lot to you and I. We've been playing video game tennis our whole lives. So this was, it gets the pass for me. I mean, more than just the pass, it gets the stamp of approval.
I agree.
As far as a motion tennis experience.
I agree.
You only are going to lose if you fuck up.
Yeah.
If you hit it out or you just, there's so much control with all these racket sports. You just feel like at all times you have 100% control of where you're even aiming your racket in the air.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive.
I agree.
So yeah, tennis, amazing. I'll just take us and segue into bowling.
Let's do it. This is the big boy.
My numero uno. I mean,
yep.
Until golf comes out, bowling is the one. So how have you felt about the bowling, Tyler? I got to ask you. I mean, I've got some strong feelings, but I'm not so sure about.
No, I like the bowling. I'm not very good at it. I'm not near as good at it as you. But I love it. And I think that it feels very clean and it feels very one-on-one almost with real bowling where the game wants you to make a lot of the same motions as if you were actually bowling. And I think that's really nice. Where if you're an experienced bowler, you're going to feel comfortable playing this to some degree, just
definitely,
off the bat.
No question. The wrist flicking, like I don't really use it, I'm going to be honest. But
no.
The better
bowlers than us would be able to get the spin and do their crazy shots with it. We just try and get it down the middle.
The flick is very responsive. And I did a lot of experimenting with angles to take and...
tilting it. Have you done the tilting it left and right a little bit?
I've done a little bit of that. Yeah, I feel like
I do it on accident more than anything.
I found myself starting to implement that and just like strike. I found a little. It'd be hard to explain, but I found a little method.
Okay.
But what I like is a lot of the times what I like to do is I like to go a little bit off from the center to the left, and then when I go for it, I kind of swoop to the right, but up ever so casually. and I get this curve that goes just right at the middle pin.
Okay,
and
so
just
you got a very narrow curve.
Yes.
You're not drifting it over to the gutter and then back.
No. It's a gentle curve that hits in just the right spot to wipe everything. Just,
Yep.
Came from experimentation. That's all I can say.
Hey, that's awesome.
But the whole package with the bowling here, and this is the one that I'm focusing on going pro on. I've made it up to C+, and I'm going to be moving up to A, no question, before golf. Golf is going to be where you and I are both, I think, going to be gunning for rank.
Yeah, that's no question for me.
I'm feeling strongly about the bowling as it is, but golf is going to be that on 100,
I agree. Yeah, the golf is what I'm really most excited for.
But yeah, you really feel like you're at a bowling alley with this, though, man. Because you crank the speakers, you got the background music, you hear all of the ambience of a bowling alley. Yeah. The only thing I'd say is, sometimes people online take a little too long to take their shots. That's not the developer's fault.
There's a pretty good timer, right, where it's not giving too much leeway.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of wish everybody just got it done as quick as you. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
But bowling, excellent. It's the one that really got me the most, I think. I'm going to be continuing to grind the pro ladder with that. Looking forward to it.
Definitely, man.
Now, the one I want to talk about that really got me was volleyball, man.
Very interesting, very different than most of the other games.
Yeah, a bit more rudimentary, but still requiring a lot of accuracy.
A lot of precision, yeah.
Yep.
Easy to learn, hard to master, I would say.
Without
we had some
question.
good back and forths with volleyball, you and me.
Oh, yeah, man. Once you get the timing down, I feel like naturally when I first started getting into it, I was early on everything.
Early on everything, same here.
On everything, yeah. But once you understand what that game's idea of early is, to me, their on time is my last minute.
Correct. Same here. You got to really get in at the last second. Once
you start getting into that motion of my last minute response is perfect to them, you're good.
Yep.
And that's the success to volleyball, is not getting those poor timed actions.
Yep, because that's how you're gonna get points, really.
Yeah. If you get the nice set, you're gonna get the green, and then you're gonna get the nice bump. Are you gonna get the nice purple
the 3
spike?
multiplier and everything.
Yeah. And then it's unhittable almost.
Yep.
So
I love. Oh man, we really had some good moments with blocking at the net against the spike.
Definitely, bro.
That's so much fun. You get those just moments of tension where you're like trying to time it exactly right. It's like a little mind game of, are they going to send it straight? Or are they going to send it, to the side, jumping early or late? And it's really, really fun.
And in that moment when you're blocking, you can actually use the analog to move.
Yep. For like the only time in the whole game, you can actually move around.
I thought that to be interesting because a lot of times maybe you could get a little read on which direction they're going to spike, spike it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you have an actual human teammate, you can actually coordinate too.
Definitely. But it's a good one, man. I got to say.
I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I had a lot of fun, played a lot of it. I've played a lot of every one of these. So this is not just hopped on, did 2. Here's my impression. I played all these enough to get pro, so... of the remaining few, which one would you like to talk about? I think I know which one you want to talk about the most. Soccer, right?
Say what?
Soccer,
definitely. That's what I was thinking because we were talking about running around. Soccer is basically Rocket League with people. Let's just call it what it is.
It's Rocket League with people.
In terms of that, it feels exactly like it, and it's the game that intrigued me the most, that I actually want to play again the most, because I love Rocket League so much, and it does feel like that in a way. Like, your momentum matters, when you use your boost matters, and there's a fatigue system where you can only sprint for X amount of time, and if you kill that, you're walking. I mean, and you're going to get outrun to the ball.
This was based off of Rocket League.
But it feels intuitive and it feels great. You know, we had a lot of fun, and it's kind of hard to get exactly good at, or it was for me at first. I think you pretty much slapped me up when we played. But I really like the soccer a lot, and I want to play it some more.
It's really fun, man. That's the last one I went pro on, and I would say it's the reasonable one because your teammates also have to help you make it happen.
There's no one-on-one ranked mode.
I just did the online queued up, and it's 4-on-4 every time. Okay. That's all I can see so far. Mm-hmm. It seems like it wants to be a 4-on-4.
Yeah, that makes sense. I haven't tried the 4-on-4 yet. I just did the 1-on-1 with you.
Yeah, so I gotta show you some clips. There's some hilarious clips, dude, that I've gotten with some of these goals. But it really is like Rocket League. I mean, you can jump and then you can kind of get that aerial momentum with some of your shots.
You can kind of do this forward dive that like uses a big boost of stamina.
You just take both Joy-Cons and just this.
Yep. And sometimes you have to do that, and it's like a clutch kind of last second dive.
I've blocked and scored with it so many times, dude. That's a key functionality. That's like...
it's like the front flip or just your secondary jump in Rocket League. It's
it's a big deal.
In the air.
And also, whenever you're waiting to get into the game, you can do it and just kind of plank in place, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
But what does that leave us with, man? Badminton?
Yeah.
This one was the one that was hardest to get into because there was something we didn't quite understand about it.
Yep. And we had some really fun long volleys just going back and forth.
Oh, yeah. And I got to say, some of the people online also made my arm fall off. Win or lose, dude. The badminton volleys go on for days.
Yeah. But I think that's fun.
Oh,
and it's not too dissimilar to real life where... in badminton is a sport where you do see those longer volleys a lot of the time. So it does make sense just because the court is a bit smaller.
Yeah. But at first with Tyler and I was really having trouble with this whenever we first fired the game up. There's a system where, you trip and fall. The wobbly shot mechanic, it's kind of similar to tennis, but in this case, it's even worse.
Yeah.
But the slipping and falling, I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Is it the way I'm hitting? It's the game puts you in this motion. So once the other person hits, you're in motion. You kind of want to avoid hitting while you're moving if you can. Because if you're in some big motion from one side to the other and you try to swing on something, you might trip up.
And end up on the ground.
And
that's a free point at that point.
And it's a free point because not only can they take advantage of that, but then they're given the purple power shot.
Yeah, like the extra good shot.
Yeah. So once I got the concept, and I think you said the same for you, once you got that concept down of like kind of waiting to be planted, it's like we said with the volleyball, last minute. It wants you to be last minute with it. Yeah. Like just wait. Okay, now you're still hit it when you think it's going to hit the ground. That's the right time,
Yep.
But that requirement of precision is exciting. Mm-hmm. I think.
I agree. It feels really smooth, and it feels like what you're doing matters, right? Some I feel on Wii Sports, you could kind of get away with just giving it a sort of half-ass motion, right? Where you're kind of like just flicking your wrist. You don't really have to be as into it. But a lot of these games is not like that. You need your full range of motion to be able to perform the functions successfully.
Definitely. Just as a quick tip, you can play Shambara and soccer laid out lounging. That's proven by me. I wanted to make sure to go through and see which sports are lounge certified.
And those are the two.
Those are the two.
Okay, good to know.
I was laid out, dude. Just laid out. Just Shambara.
Just boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. What was the other one I said? The soccer. I mean, yeah, the soccer. It's just you're running with the sticks, and all you got to do is
playing FIFA almost, or Rocket League.
Flick your Joy-Con how you want to kick, dude. Perfect for sitting down. So that's worth mentioning, I think, man. I'm doing people a favor there. If you're ever like, oh, I'm sitting down, but I really want to play Switch Sports, or I really want to rank up at something, just play soccer, or just,
Shambara.
Sit down sword fighting.
Awesome, man. Well, let's talk about golf if we can. This sport is not out yet, unfortunately.
All we've seen is basically a 2-second clip of a sport mate taking a shot.
Yep.
Just teeing off.
And that's it. And they mentioned that it'll be in a free update this fall. I believe fall is kind of the only date range we've gotten. So we'll see. I'm just going to wait and see. I know it's going to be awesome. If it's as good as the rest of the sports, it's going to be my new favorite just because of how much I love golf games. This is well documented.
I have to agree 100%.
I played a ton of Tiger Woods on the Wii, so I expect this to kind of give me that same sort of, satisfaction. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, I kind of told you, I'm excited, even if it's a rough learning curve, to get motion golfing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get really good at this. Like I said, I want me and Tyler to be the goats at this shit.
I think you'll find that it's not going to take long for you to get used to it.
No, they implement everything so well, and we understand the mechanics of golf well enough to where I think it's going to be a pretty good time.
It's going to be good. Yeah, I agree.
And we're gonna cover the rest of the ground on the game. The collectibles.
This is all you right here.
Oh, okay. I mean, I unlocked all of everything the second day the game was out. Everything was unlocked.
And you've kept up with that mostly, right?
Yep.
They've been adding new stuff almost every day.
They have the simple set or basic set. I forgot what it's called. Which you unlock everything in it by getting 100 points from playing various sports. You perform, you get more points. And when you unlock everything in it, you get the big set bonus, which is 2 outfits, one male, one female. Some of them seem pretty unisex,
Mm-hmm.
So they had the first one, which was basic, simple, and then they had a cute set. So I demolished those. Then they just came out with a soccer set. So awesome. I went ahead and got that as soon as that came out. And they said they're doing these weekly, but there's timers on these. So Tyler, I think you got 3 days to get that first set, and it's wiping out. So
what do you actually do to unlock the sets?
You just play. You just play online. You play online.
You don't have to hit a certain rank. It's just sort of...
You get, depending on the sport, you get a base amount of points just for playing. Then you get multipliers for performance.
I see. So similar to Mario Golf.
So bowling, I get 40 for playing. And if I bowled a really good game, I'm probably going to get 90-something points. Okay. So it's if I'm really, really killing it in bowling, I'm going to get an item per game almost.
Okay.
But yeah, it said in one of those cards, the information cards in between loading screens, you might want to get the items. They won't be available for a good long while. That makes me think they'll pop back up.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Hope they do the same for Super Rush. That's all I'm going to say.
That would be nice. But yeah, the Yoshis we're missing.
Absolutely. I love the customization in Nintendo Switch Sports, the different skins on different sports gear, the different attire,
Yeah.
I'm rocking my Mii with the floral tracksuit, and I'm feeling cozy. Everybody unlocks different stuff. That's also a big thing. Everybody has different things on their grid. So you're going to have different shit than me.
Okay, that's interesting.
My girl had different shit than me. Because I started seeing people with different bowling balls, and I'm like, how are they unlocking these? So I had to look it up. I'm like, how are they unlocking these? And I'm like, it's you just grind points and unlock it from the set. I'm like, yeah, I did that. And luckily, I got the bowling ball I wanted the most, which is the classic. It's like a wooden bowling ball.
Oh, yeah.
I'm loving that. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what you have available because you're going to have drastically different equipment skins, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So final conclusions, recommend big time, day one purchase.
Recommend big time, day one purchase. I would literally purchase this game with a Switch if someone was getting it. Do you think they'll have a
bundle? Do they have a bundle already?
I think it'd be a great bundle.
I feel like
it'd be a fantastic bundle.
That was key for the Wii, right? So I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah. It's just a must own. I mean, the game has blown me away. I feel like this is going to be. It's funny. We talk about all these releases, Tyler. You know, Triangle Strategy. Just these big things that have come out that we've been waiting so long for. New Kirby, Arceus,
things that we've been with the entire lifetime of.
Yep. And I have gotten on Switch Sports and binged this game like none of them combined with each other.
And you were so lukewarm on the game at first. That's what's so hilarious.
It's a strange thing, T. I get on here and I'm just bearing my soul and just giving my honesty.
Hey, that's what we're here for, man.
But this game has completely consumed me. I think I might actually have some type of problem. Don't be too worried, but some type of problem with the bowling. I kind of can't stop.
Yeah, I understand. It gets that way, man.
But I'm glad I went physical because I'm a huge fan. So this is something I would have definitely wanted to own. But just closing out, man, I'm sure that there's things we left out. There's so much to talk about. I just wanted to bring this to the table. A lot of areas in Spoko Square not touched upon.
I was just thinking the same thing, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see more than golf added in the future.
So that I couldn't help but notice, and this is all me, dude, looking at the screen. But I couldn't help but notice that there's two sets of boat docks. Wouldn't be surprised if one took you to the golf course and one took you somewhere else. Another thing that comes to mind, I was trying to talk my little brother into getting it. Let's keep in mind, people, this is a $39.99 game digitally. I paid $50 for the physical. That was my choice. I get the leg strap, the box, whatever. This is a $39.99 game, and you don't need anything else to play it. The leg strap soccer is optional.
Joy-Cons is it.
Joy-Cons is it. First question my little brother asked me when I tried to talk him into getting it. Does it have baseball? Fantastic question. That was a really good question.
Hate to see it.
But I mean, hey, maybe the other set of docks takes you to the baseball stadium. I mean, I'm just saying, there's when you go to the sport, you highlight the area that sport's located on the island in the square. The square, the music, we could just say it all in one breath, Tyler. It's a music. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Like the visual design, audio design, the whole environment of all of it is fantastic. But would love to see baseball. Would love to see basketball, dude. I mean, I know it's a lot to ask, but oh man, can you imagine?
I would love to see baseball. I mean, that was my favorite part of Wii Sports. Let's just be honest.
Baseball should be coming, man. I just feel like it's safe to say golf's not going to be the only thing added.
I hope we see baseball. I really do.
I do too. But I could see them adding quite a few sports to this. Definitely. I wouldn't even mind if they did a free one and then another free one and then like a $30 DLC pack with 3 more. Wouldn't even mind.
They would need to add a couple sports, I think, and a couple new features or something. I don't know.
The game's $40 base though, Tyler.
I get it. I think to make the value there for a $30 DLC, you'd want to see more than one sport.
I said 3.
Oh, 3 sports? Yeah, definitely.
I was like, yeah, they could put out golf and then like another free update and then maybe along the line have like a 3 sport pack for $30.
Yes, that would be very appropriate.
That's what I was saying.
That would be very appropriate. Just bring baseball, give me golf ASAP, and we'll be happy.
Yeah, but shit, T, I can dedicate 2 hours to this game, so I think we should truly move on to.
And we'll be talking about it more. Just like Mario Golf, as we get these updates, we're gonna be bringing this game back up. There's no question about it.
Definitely. I'm going to be ranking up bowling like through the next 2 weeks till we get back on here.